Hi there. Find the second iteration of our Gori Valet design video sessions. In this video we're going to create a ground battalion on the red side to show how to quickly set up a large amount of tanks using the spawn class that are visible at mission startup and will be activated gradually group by group. So this really provides a very compelling and nice experience for players who are within a mission. Right, so here we are back within the mission editor here, and I'm having the old script open. So what I had here working was I was able to, at mission start, to make large battalions visible of Russian ground forces at certain locations within the mission. I had actually 3 battalions. I had a battalion on the left side, the middle and the right side of Skim Valley. So I spawned them, I think here, here, and here. I don't remember anymore. Somewhere here. We'll get to that. The battalions, however, the units within the battalions, they were different. They varied a lot. And for that, within the spawn class, there is a randomized template API, which is this one here. And that takes a parameter, an array of groups that act as a template to choose from. And these groups are defined here. So what the power of these groups is that the mission designer can define any group that he thinks is logical for his mission to be a set, and those groups then can act within the mission on a randomized basis. This is an advantage over just create a group out of the blue from a set of object types. So yes, it's a bit more work to define those templates, but on the other hand, it creates a bit of a logic how these groups stick together. For example, a SAM is a SAM, right? And a tank is a tank. It doesn't make sense to have a SAM and a tank together, I think, right? So here I have defined a couple of templates like this. Note that the templates, there are always 2 objects here. Could be 3, could be 4. For the moment it's 2. So the naming that I've used is, I just say RU attack Gori 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 till 10. Okay, all these templates are being put inactive. They won't be spawned or they won't be started when the mission starts. As I said, we use the spawn object to spawn those objects. So the randomized template is one, but there's another API that's also very important, and that's the array method of the spawn object. So with this one, we can quickly create a visible array of groups. Yeah, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy these little pieces of code here, and I'm going to type them over here in our little mission that we're building, because the syntax of the APIs have changed a little bit, and I just want to make sure that we're doing the right thing. So Russian ground troops attacking Gori Valley. It's always a good practice to put some comments on the object so that you understand what they're for. By the way, this is a very big advantage above the mission editor normally, because there you don't have these kind of comment fields, and it's a bit difficult to find why did I create that object, but here you can find it back. So first, the array of templates. This is just an array. Let me explain array first. An array is basically a list within the memory of objects that you have which are assigned to a variable. Okay, so you could index this array. Sorry, the array declaration is created by using brackets. So you say, I have an array. So when you open a bracket here and you close it there, and within those brackets you define the objects separated by a comma, then you create an array. Here I have an array of 10 objects. Now I can use the array, for example, to do this. Are you troops? And now I would like to print the name of the first element. So what this thing will do is it will put in the DCS log the attack Gori 1 string, the name of it, right? That's not too exciting what we want to do. So the spawn object takes the array and we'll keep it internally, and we'll just select randomly which template, which it wants to use to create the new spawn object. There is another interesting thing, that is, when you create the spawn object, the name of the group is not one of those templates because that's being randomized, but that is a group that defines the root of those. Let me repeat. That group here defines the route to be followed by those dynamically spawned objects. Where do I find it? Let me find it for you, and let me show you how that looks like, that group. So I want to have Russia, attack Gori left. Here, there we go. So this one here defines the path that will be followed towards Gori. Also remember that I'm randomizing the path, and I am spawning this group here, somewhere here, right? So I'm going to have a list of visible tanks and things here being stored. So just remember now that this name here defines the path of those tanks, of the dynamic spawn tanks, that of the route that needs to be followed. It also defines the properties, so the limit. Just remember that because I changed the name, I put here init limit 40,50. Let me type that out for you. So init limit, here we are, 40. I want to have 150 tanks in total, but I only want to have 40 units live. So 150 groups, but 40 units live at the same time. I initialize the template. Now that is also now with init randomize template. Let me type that out for you. So here I say spawn, and you can do control R. No, that's not working. Like this. Okay, cool. And then the route should be randomized, where I'm just taking over. Just remember that's going to be, and that's an interesting one I need to discuss. So that's going to be, he's going to randomize the route. So starting from route waypoint 1 till the last waypoint, which is here, DP. So till here, the route will be randomized. And how will it be randomized? It will draw a 2-kilometer circle around those waypoints. So waypoint 6, I draw 2,000 meters, 2 kilometers. Yep. So around here, for each new tank that is being spawned, or each group that is being spawned, the waypoint will be randomized here. It will be randomized here, right? It will be randomized here. And as a result, you see those tanks driving around. Now, it's a good practice when you do the randomization, and I did this wrong here, to kind of, make sure that the randomization is, you don't want to have these tanks driving through the villages, do you? Maybe you want, I don't know. It's your choice, but maybe here would be better. Yeah, so that's up to the mission designer's choice. So what will happen is, because you see all these tanks coming from various directions now, that when you fly with your helicopter here, you will see, you don't know exactly from where they are coming. So you will see a dynamic experience. Okay, let's go back to the script. And now here is an interesting one. It's the array. So here we do init array. And here we have something interesting. It's called the spawn angle. What's the spawn angle? Well, it's basically this. When I'm creating 150 groups of each 2 units each, which is here, right? Remember these templates here? So it's going to be 300 tanks that's going to be displayed here. Well, you want to specify the parameters, how these tanks need to be displayed, no? So the first parameter is the angle, and the angle is very simple. How do I want to have these tanks being oriented? Do I want to have them being oriented like this, or like this? Okay. I don't know what I took as a parameter. 349. So what I took was something like this, from here till here. Okay, cool. So you see this degrees here, 264, 298, right? You can use the metrics to actually define the degrees as a parameter here. So we go 249, that would be around this way. Okay, cool. So I'm typing this over. Sorry, 349, right? Yeah, 349. Okay. So I'm typing over 349. Okay. The width. Now what's the width? The width is basically how many groups do I want to have next to each other in a row? So, and that's in units, right? In groups. So if I specify 30 here, I will have 30 groups in a row. Okay, so I'm saying here, and this is explained here as well, right? The width is the amount of groups that will be positioned on the x-axis. There you go. So I'm putting here 30. Cool. So I will have 30 groups. And then I'm saying the space between each group. So this is in meters, the amount of space that will be put between the groups. So I'm putting here 20. So that means that every 20 meters there will be a new group. And then another thing is important. How much space will be between each group that is put on the second row and the third? So because I'm having 150 groups, right? 30 per 30 groups I'm grouping. So I'm building up a block like a square. So the second row will start with group 31, and then the third row will start with group 61, and right? So I'm putting 20 meters of space between each group, and this is important at 20 meters because the X1 is really important, because I'm having two units per group. So the array will spread out each group per 10 meters, right? So let me document that. If I write here 30, I can explain you exactly what this will do. So that's the array. And then the schedule, that's already something that I don't need to explain. So every 30 seconds with a variation of 1. What does that mean? Between 0 and 60 seconds. Okay, so I have a similar kind of setup in the middle of Gori. So let me find that for you. That one. Middle, here we are. Let me zoom that out a bit. That's the path for the middle. And then I'm having one for the right side. That's here, right? So I'm creating an immersive experience, I'm deploying ground troops that are driving in these directions, and you'll see kind of a range of troops coming over to Gori, right, gradually, that need to be battled. Okay, so let me correct all of these things quickly. I'm gonna pause the video 1 second. Okay, so now all of these things are adapted, and I think they're correct. So now we will play the scripts in the mission and see how this is working. Notice that I built up this mission from the previous video. So I'm doing this now. Hop hop. Okay, load it and play. Okay, so here I am in the mission. Let me go to Observer. Right. What will happen? There we are. There's one spawned. Now let's have a look here. Oh, you see that? This is a massive amount of tanks there. Correct? And remember the 30 parameter? So we have 2 tanks in one group. So every 30 meters, right? In the y-axis, the spread out is done. So you see now what is the effect of that. Okay, here's the other one. And you see another kind of template composition there. And where else do you see it? Here in the middle. There you go. So I hope this is enjoyable for most of the people, and I hope you've learned something, and see you to the next session, next video. Bye bye.